Number 2 on page 121, please read along with me. It says, find each product to complete the chart below. One factor in each problem contains a 5. Discuss the patterns you see for the number of zeros in each product. How does the number of zeros in the product relate to the number of zeros in the factors? Okay, so then take a look at the chart. We have 5 times 20, 50 times 40, 50 times 600, and 500 times 800. And what all these problems have in common is that there's a 5 within the factors of each of these multiplication sentences. And basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be finding the answer for all these multiplication problems, and we're going to be comparing the amount of zeros in our answer with the number of zeros in our factors or in our multiplication sentences. So the book, I'll go through the first one with you. It says 5 times 20, and then that is equal to 5 times 2 times 10. So basically it broke apart the 20 into 2 times 10, which is equal to 10 times 10. Well, how they got 10 times 10 is they ignored the 0 and they did the math fact first, or basically the multiplication sentence with the 2 non-zero numbers. And the 2 non-zero numbers in this problem is 5 times 10. 5 times 20. Go ahead and underline the 5 and the 2 with me. And 5 times 2 is equal to 10. Go ahead and underline 10. And then how they come up with times 10 right here is that there's a 0 after the 2 for the number 20. So 2 times 10 makes up 20. And then let's go ahead and let's solve. So 5 times 2, we already said, is 10. Please mark a 10 over in your answer. And how many zeros did we ignore in this problem? We ignored 1 0 here, so we have to put our 0 back into our answer. So we're going to add 1 more 0 into our answer to arrive at our total of 100 as our product. 5 times 20 is equal to 100. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to solve the remaining 3 multiplication sentence. Go ahead and try it using the rules that we were following in the previous lesson. Do the math fact, ignore the zeros, and then add the zeros in, and then notice patterns as you do this. Okay, go ahead and compare your answers with mine. 50 times 40 is equal to 2,000. Make sure that's correct into your book and that there's a comma between the thousands and the hundreds place. And I color-coded mine. So 5 times 4 is equal to 20. And then we ignored 2 zeros, and then I added back in the 2 zeros at the end of my product to get 2,000. 50 times 600, 5 times 6 equals 30. And we ignored 1, 2, 3 zeros. So 3 zeros added on to our product gives us 30,000. And 500 times 800, 5 times 8 is 40. Ignoring 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. And 4 zeros added onto our product then equals 400,000. Okay. And then, now that we have our correct answers, we're going to answer the question, how does the number of zeros in the product relate to the number of zeros in the factors? Well, let's do one of these together, and then you'll do the remaining 3 on your own. So let's count the number of zeros in our multiplication sentence for 5 times 20. How many zeros are within each of these 2 factors? There's only 1. So on the side, I'd like you to draw the number 1 to represent 1 0. And then for our answer, 100, how many zeros are in the number 100? 2 zeros. So mark a little 2 over there to represent 2 zeros. I'd like you to do the same process for the remaining 3 multiplication sentences, marking how many zeros on the side for the multiplication sentences and how many zeros for the products. Okay, so for the next one, for 50 times 40, we got 2 zeros in the multiplication sentence, or 2 zeros in the factors, and 3 zeros in our product. And then take a look at the other 2. Did you get the same counting of zeros as I did? Great. And then let's make a rule then, or let's put it in a statement. How does the number of zeros in the product relate to the number of zeros and the factors for these problems? Okay, so the answer I came up with, and you hopefully got something similar, is that the number of zeros in the product is one more than the number of zeros in the factors. Go ahead and write that into your book. You can use mine exactly how it's written now, or you can put it into your own words, whatever way, as long as you're using the correct academic vocabulary. Please include the words product and factors, and of course, zeros in there as well. So the number of zeros in the product is one more than the number of zeros in the factors. And why is that? Well, again, we were multiplying the number or the factor of 5 by certain numbers here, and ignoring the zeros, those math facts, it was 5 times 2, 5 times 4, 5 times 6, and 5 times 8. What do you notice about the numbers 2, 4, 6, and 8? They are all even numbers. And when we multiplied 5 by these even numbers, our answer or our math facts always ended in a 0. And this 0 did not count, was not counted for when we bring over the zeros. So we ignored, we left those math facts over there, and then we brought over the zeros. And the reason why we had one more 0 over here is because there was a 0 that was contained in the original math fact answer. So that's why there's one more 0 over here. Great, thanks for following along with this problem.